If you're a roofer, a plumber, an HVAC contractor, basically any home service provider, and you want Google to send you free leads, you're definitely going to want to watch this video because I'm about to pull up a real contractor's Google business profile, a real website in a real city, and show you exactly why they aren't getting calls from their Google business profile. I'm going to show you the exact steps I'd take right now to start showing up on Google when someone searches for roofer in Tulsa or electrician in Fort Wayne or plumber near me. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick a random city on the map, find a roofing company, and I'm going to go through my 7-phase Google Maps audit live, no scripts, no setup, just raw data. So let's go with Mesa, Arizona. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the country. The 110 degrees summers that can literally cook your roof, monsoon season that rips off shingles overnight, and if your AC goes out in the summer, who are you going to call? Homeowners aren't wondering if they need a roof or an AC repair. They're wondering when. And if you're not in the top 3, you don't exist. In fact, the data tells us that 80% of the people looking for service-based businesses grab their phone and go to Google. It's that powerful. So let's see who shows up. All right, so I'm here on Google, and I've actually got my location set. I have a plugin on Chrome that allows me to set my location. So I've set my location to Mesa, Arizona. I'm going to type in roofing Contractor, Mesa, Arizona. Pops up for me. Now, see this right here? This is where most people go. This is what's called the Google Map Pack, and they generally show the top 3 roofing companies. And Google gets to decide it. It's not based on your work or anything like that. Google gets to decide who sits in this top 3 spots here, and the top 3 spots get the majority of the calls. Now, this first one here, Overson Roofing, they are sponsored, which means they're paying for that. There's nothing we can do about that. But generally what people do is they look at these top 3. And to be honest, what they do is they look at the top 3 and they see which one has the best reviews, 5-star, Stout Roofing. I'm probably going to click on that one and start checking them out real quick. Now, I'm going to do something here that most people don't do. As you know, there's a joke about what's the best way to hide a dead body, and the answer to that is on page 2 of Google. So very few people go beyond these first 3 here, but we're going to do something here. We're going to hit more businesses, and I don't want to look at the top one. I want to look at, I'm just going to start scrolling down here. In fact, I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to go all the way to page 2. And again, we've got some sponsored ones here. I'm just looking for something that jumps out at me. Goat Roofing. I like that. So Goat Roofing, obviously they do amazing work. They've got 128 reviews. They've got a 4.9 rating. So obviously, the issue here is not the quality of their work. They're a great company. 4.9. You can't get 128 reviews averaging 4.9 unless you do great work. They've been in business 3 years. They're right here in Mesa. So let's take a quick peek at Goat Roofing. So this is their, what we call their Google business profile. A couple of things right out of the gate. 170 photos. That's great. We always recommend you have at least 100 photos. And let's just take a peek at some of them. They appear to be actual photos, not stock photos. You definitely don't want to upload stock photos. And there's something cool that we generally do. We'll generally geotag the photos. Now, the jury's still out on whether or not Google recognizes geotags on these photos. Some say they do, some say they don't, but it's an easy process. So we always geotag our photos because we feel that's a signal that tells Google where we do business. So great job, Goat Roofing, with your photos. Now, if you don't have photos on your Google business profile, you want to shoot for at least, shoot for 70 to 80 if you can. And if you don't have those all at once, then obviously just start making a practice of doing that. So we've got their website. We'll take a look at that in a minute. We've looked at their reviews, 4.9, 128. Exceptional in all aspects of replacing my roof. So again, this company is obviously doing an amazing job. They've got their address here. You want to make sure that your address is congruent across everywhere on the web that you're actually posting. We call those citations. NAP stands for name, address, phone number. We always want to make sure that your address on your web page, your phone number on your web page is always the same. He's got a product, so you always want to fill out your products if you can. And products, he's got roof replacement. I would generally say the product should be, asphalt shingle roofs, metal roofs. If you do, gutters, aluminum K-line gutters, whatever, HVAC, you're going to want your products in there. plumbers, water heaters, things like that. And you can actually put name brand products in there too. Like for roofs, you might do Certainteed Roofing or Elk Roofing, Pabco Roofing. So you can have your different products on there. And each one of these products, you're going to want to have a description, a keyword rich description for each one of those. He's got one. That's a great start. Let's see. Okay, so here's the about section. We're a family owned roofing startup with 10 years experience in the industry. We pride ourselves in giving personalized attention to each client. All awesome. So my suggestion here, I don't see keywords in this description. We want to have keywords. If you're trying to rank in Mesa, Arizona, we want to have there. We're a family-owned roofing business focusing on roof replacement, roof installation, roof inspections, in Mesa, Arizona. We pride ourselves on, so just make sure those keywords are in there because those are signals to Google. We're always trying to tell Google what we do, who we do it for, and where we do it. So updates from Goat Roofing. I don't see anything here. So they're not actively posting on their Google business profile. You want to have at least one or two posts a week going up on your profile. He does have some links to Instagram and Facebook, which is great. Okay, so let's check their reviews. Let's see. Again, they've got 4.9 128. Amazing. What I want to see is click on newest, more. Okay, excellent communication, scheduling a job to completion. Okay, so the customer was selected the service that they used. There's no reply. And this was 2 hours ago. Awesome. So you're much better getting one or two reviews a week than you are, putting 30 reviews in 6 months ago and then never getting another one. So he got another one a day ago. So he's obviously got a great system for reviews. Keep up the good work. Okay, so he did reply to this one. Awesome. He did reply to this one. Awesome. Great job. Great job. Replied. When you can get a customer to post pictures, that's great. And if you have the ability to coach, when you ask, the best time to ask for a review is the second you're done with the job, when they're happy and they're in that honeymoon phase. If you have the ability to kind of coach them on what to say, make sure that when they leave a review, just say, hey, would you mind just kind of posting in there what we did and where we did it? Because once again, it's keywords. So if you can coach them and say, hey, Goat Roofing was awesome. They replaced our roof in Mesa, Arizona, or in Mesa, and they did an amazing job. So we can get those keywords. Adding photos is even better. Have them snap a photo or two. But great job, Cody, I think was his name. He looks like he's responding to each one of these. So it's critical that you respond to each one of these. So he's got a lot of good things going for him. And regarding negative reviews, which he probably doesn't have, maybe he's got one. Um, you also want to respond to that because it shows that it shows to people and it shows to Google that you care about your customers. If you get a negative review, own it. One thing I would do though is wait for 2 or 3 days before you actually respond to that negative review because sometimes I've seen Google remove it because maybe it's a false review or a fake review or something like that, which those are tough. But unfortunately, people do that. So there's obviously a lot of data that is missing on the Google Business Profile. I'm going to do one other thing here. We're going to take a peek at categories. So this is a plugin that I use. It's called GMB Everywhere, and we're just going to do so. Right now, you can see the category is roofing contractor. So Google allows one category as your primary category, and then I believe there's 9 others for a total of 10 as secondary categories. So I would imagine what Goat Roofing would want to do here is to find some additional categories to add. And I don't know what they do. We haven't looked at their website yet, but let's say they do, so roofing services, we definitely would want to add that as a category. Maybe we'd want to add gutter services if they do that, gutter cleaning services, construction company, roofing supply shop. So there are other roofing supply store, waterproofing company for more of the, torch down roofs and things like that, waterproofing service. So Google will allow up to 10 categories. So my recommendation in just doing a quick audit here, I would definitely add some additional categories. Let's take a peek at their services. So what do they have for services? Okay, so they've done a pretty good job of services. They've got roof inspection, roof installation, roof repair. Let's see. I would like to see about at least 30 of these services. And then what we're going to do when you have these services, so we've got roofing contractor, and under roofing contractor services, we've got roof inspection, roof installation, roof repair. There's definitely some that are missing here. So I would recommend adding some more categories here. And then what we're going to do on the website, we want to make sure that the website is congruent with what Google says. So we're going to want individual pages for roof inspection. You'll notice that's a service here. Roof inspection in Mesa, roof installation in Mesa, roof repair in Mesa. By creating a specific web page for each one of these services, we call this our authority stack. We would want to have, so if you have 30 services, we want to have 30 authority stack pages that are dedicated to each one of these services, which calls out the service, which talks about the service in detail, which tells tells Google that we do it in Mesa, Arizona. So all of those things. So that's, again, we call that our authority stack. So, pretty good though, as far as what I'm seeing here. Let's do another quick thing here real quick. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to pull up something else. Okay, so this is another service that I use. This is what we call a heat map. And what it does is it finds Goat Roofing's office location, and then it tells us where we rank. If we remember back to the original Google search, we know that in the map pack it shows the top 3. So what this does, this heat map does, is it shows where they're ranking throughout the city. So as you can see, I'm guessing right there in the center where there's that one green dot, that is probably where their office is located. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to bet that's about where their office is located. And you can see there they're ranking number 3 right at their office. So if you're parked outside of their office and you type in roofing contractor, Mesa, Arizona, they will show up as number 3. Now you can see the further we get away from their office, the worse they're doing. The orange dots mean they're ranking 4 to 10. And then the red dots are actually 4 to 9, and then the red dots are 10 and beyond. So you can see out here, Central Scottsdale, they're not ranking at all. They're basically invisible. And really anything over 3, any of these orange dots, they're basically invisible because, as we said, the majority of the clicks go to those top 3 businesses. So what this does is this is amazingly helpful, and this is one of the first things that we do when we start working with any roofing company, and this is one of the first things that you should do, is just get a feel for where you're at. I mean, how do you get to where you want to go if you don't know where you're at to start? So this tells us right now that we need what we call more topical relevance, that they're not ranking well for roofing contractor. And as we start to build out some of these pages on the website that will increase the topical relevance, once we start to get about a 40% green here, what we then do is we switch to what we call geographical relevance, and we'll start adding more web pages. I see Queen Creek down here. So we might, if you do a roofing job or a AC repair or something down here, we might dedicate a page to the Queen Peak area, to Eastmark, to Santa Rita. So we'll start to create individual pages there. So I just wanted to take a look at that, and let's see. Let's do one more thing. Let's click on, I'm just going to click on number 8 here. So this tells us where they're actually sitting. So you can see in that particular area, they're ranking number 8. Now you can see this Right Way Roofing is showing up. They're doing quite well in this area. They're showing up as number 1. So let's take a quick peek just in comparison. Let's take a quick peek at what they're looking like. So ideally what we're shooting for is a map grid that looks more like this. And as you can see, and you can clearly tell that when your map is all green like this, you're going to be getting the majority of the phone calls. And here's what's crazy is fixing this is really not even that hard. They're just making a handful of basic mistakes that are costing them everything. Hey, real quick, if you're watching this and your stomach has just dropped a little bit because you know that you do amazing work, but Google isn't sending you the leads, they're sending them to your competitors who quite honestly don't even come close to you, I can help fix that. What I can do is I can audit your GBP and your website for you. I can tell you exactly what needs to be fixed and how to do it. No fluff, no BS. So if you want to start getting more calls from Google, here's what you're going to want to do. Pick up your phone, go to freegbpaudit.com, fill out the form, and hit submit. And once I get your information, I'll get to work on it. That's it. You'll hear back from me personally, and I'll show you exactly where you're losing calls, where you're losing book jobs, and what to fix first. No charge, no catch. Just do it right now before you forget, because here's the thing. I normally charge for a full GBP and website audit like this, but I do 2 free ones a week. I do them personally, so that's about all I can handle with my other workload. So if you want to grab a spot, do it now. Go to freegbpaudit.com and find out exactly what you need to do to start getting more calls from Google. So back to the video. Mistake number 1 is add additional business categories. Google allows up to 10. They've only got 1. Mistake number 2 is they have some missing services that they can add. Mistake number 3, they can add, they want to continue to add pictures. There's no Google posts, so they want to make sure and be posting active pictures, real jobs, real customers, real roofs, real repairs, on their Google business profile at least once a week. They can optimize their description. They can add additional products. And finally, just going through the entire Google business profile and making sure every single box is checked and filled out with those proper keywords if possible. And it's not necessarily that this is hard work. It's just tedious, detailed work, but it needs to be done if you want to start getting those leads from Google. So let's take a look at their website and see, because here's the thing. We want the website and the Google business profile to kind of act as one. Okay, so here's their website. Not bad. They've got a schedule a free estimate here right out of the gate. So let's just take a quick look at this. One of the things I look at right out of the gate is what is the title? Okay, so the title, again, this is one of the biggest signals right here that is telling Google what we do. So Goat Roofing, trusted roofing company in Mesa, Arizona. That's good. They've got Mesa, Arizona in there. Free. Okay, so that's not bad. It's a little long. We'd probably want to keep this to 70 characters or so. 65 actually would be ideal. Keep this to 65 characters. You want to have your name in there for sure, because if somebody searches for your company name, we want to have that in the title. But more importantly is people that are not specifically searching for your company, the general searches. So I would move the Goat Roofing part, your company name, to the end of this, and just type in, trusted roofing company, trusting roofing contractor, because remember, that's our main category is roofing contractor. So I would say trusted roofing contractor in Mesa, Arizona, and then maybe do roof repairs, roof estimates, and then Goat Roofing. So I would change the title slightly just to optimize it a little bit. Description here, roofing company in Mesa, Arizona, residential, commercial roofer. Okay, so that's pretty good, 148 characters. They're missing keywords, so I would add keywords to their website. There's not a defined canonical here. That's something that we would want to add. There's no robot tags defined. So these are all just, pretty basic things here. Publisher is missing. That's not going to help with SEO. Okay, so the title, the description, and then the header. So the header is what we call the H1. That's this Arizona's trusted roofing company here. So again, what are we trying to rank for? In this example, your Google business profile says that you're a roofing contractor. You would want in your H1, instead of Arizona's trusted roofing contractor, I would say trusted roofing contractor in Mesa, Arizona, or something along those lines, because we've got those main keywords. We've got Mesa, Arizona, and we've got roofing contractor, which again, if we go back to our main category, is roofing contractor in Mesa, Arizona. So we're giving Google very, very clear signals. Okay, so schedule your free estimate. Okay, so that just takes us to a general basic contact form. Not perfect, but it does work. Right now, I can tell you another reason they're not ranking is they just don't have enough content on this page. You want to shoot for 1,500 to 2,000 words on your homepage. And what we're going to do on our homepage is we're going to have, okay, we're back to our services here. We want to have a short blurb about every service that we have in our Google business, in our service page here. So roof inspection, roof installation, roof repair. What we're going to do is we're going to have a short little paragraph, 200, 250 words of each one of those services. Okay. And so they've got roofing services, residential roofing and commercial roofing. Find out more. Takes us to a contact page. Okay, not ideal. What we would have here is residential roofing, and then we would have roofing, what did I say? Roof installation, roof repair, roof replacement. We would have a paragraph about each one of those, which is how we're going to get more contact. And then there's a link from each one of those short paragraphs to the actual service page. So if you recall, we said we're going to have a roof inspection in Mesa, Arizona service page. So if we have a short little blurb here of roof inspections in Mesa, Arizona, and then find out more, is going to take us to the full service page, which is going to be 1,500 words or so dedicated specifically to roof inspections or AC repair, water heater replacement, whatever your service is, we're going to have those 30 dedicated page, that authority stack that I talked about earlier. So that's what you want your, and the other thing here is embed. We want to embed a map, and I typically would do that in the footer down here. Their footer is missing a lot of information. We want to have links, we want to have addresses, we want to have phone numbers, all there. So those are just some basic things that I would do. Let's see. Yeah, so they've only got 2 images on this page and neither of them have titles. So another little fix that I would do. We want to have more images, and these stock images don't always work great. You'd be much better off having a picture of your truck, your office, your crew loading a roof, something like that. We want to have more pictures and more content. So that is the quick homepage there. The contact us page again is not ideal. Obviously, or when we want to schedule a roofing, most millennials would prefer to actually schedule online than pick up a phone or fill out a form. So if they can embed some sort of calendar system in here that would take them directly to that, I like to actually have a form right up here on the right hand side. We call it the top of the fold. This is the header section, the hero section. We've got the phone number here. Let's make sure that the phone number matches their GBP 5448. It does. That's good. I don't see an office address anywhere. We got to have the office address on here, and we got to make sure that it's the same office address that is shown on the Google Business Profile. Those are just those basic signals. You'd also like to have, if you have a review widget that you can post in your reviews, we want to have your reviews somewhere on this first page. They have a separate page for it, which is not terrible. They've got some reviews. We can scroll through them. Again, GOAT. I mean, obviously they're the GOAT, baby. They do good work. That looks like Jimmy Johnson from the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see. About us. Okay. Cody, awesome job, dude. You're killing it. You're doing a good job. You've got 4.9 star ratings. You've been in business for a long while. Congratulations. They're license bonded. I'd love to see just some more information here. The website is just lacking a lot of information. So they do have roofing systems. They have asphalt shingles. Okay, so they've got a little bit. I'd like to see 1,500 words or so here on asphalt shingles, comp shingles, architectural composition roof, all those different types of things. They've got some product names here. That's good. I don't see any exterior links. Anytime you're doing, we like to do at least one exterior link to either some sort of organization that you have, or some sort of local charity, or maybe you're a chamber of commerce. We like to have those outgoing links. So that's something that I would recommend that they do here. More content, more content, more content. Frequently asked questions. So this is great. Frequently asked questions. Let's see how they're structured. What's the lifespan of an asphalt shingle roof? So minor adjustment. What's the average lifespan of an asphalt shingle roof in Mesa, Arizona? Okay, we want to have keywords in there. And then the answer. You always want to restate the answer like you're restating the question. And we do this because of AI. AI is really, Google is still number one by far. But AI is taking a lot of the, I've got a full video on AI. I'll put a link on how AI is affecting the Google search. I'm going to put a link to it somewhere on the page right here. I'll also put it in the bottom. But we want to structure these answers so that AI can pick up on them. So if I were to say, what is the lifespan of an asphalt shingle roof in Mesa, Arizona? My response would be, the average lifespan of a roof in Mesa, Arizona is, and then answers. So we always want to restate the question. The AI searches will actually see that answer, and you'll have a better chance of posting and showing up on AI. So definitely check out my video on how AI is changing a lot of this stuff. But this is just one thing I would do. And then the other thing I would do is I would not have these collapsible. The reason being is because when Google goes in and scans a website, they usually scan the mobile site. And if these aren't open, it's not going to see these answers. So you don't want to have these collapsible in here. And that's just kind of one of those basic things. So I would change that, because when Google scans it, if they're not collapsible, it's going to see all of this text. If these things are all collapsed and Google scans the website, and it's basically taking a screenshot of it, it's not going to see all of this text. It's not going to see all of these answers. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not buried in the code, but it's just a better practice. Best practices to make these so they're not expandable. And then more, what do we have? We have jobs, apply, openings, service areas. Let's take a peek at that. Okay, so they've got some service areas here. Now, when we talked about geographical relevance, what we would want to do is, and we would want to have these as clickable links, and I would want to have a paragraph about Phoenix, a paragraph about Scottsdale. We would call this our service location hub. And so what we would do is we would have a little bit about each one of these cities, and then we would have a link to, these would be a live link to actually the Phoenix page. And that URL would be something like, goatroofaz.com/service area/Phoenix roof repairs, Phoenix roof installation, Scottsdale roof repair. And that's when we'll start to expand out into some of these other areas here when we go back and look at that search grid. And unfortunately, when your map looks like this, you're going to be relying on other sources to get your leads. And knowing that Google is probably the #1 lead generation source out there for service-based businesses like roofing contractors, HVAC, plumbers, electricians, you can clearly see that you're not going to be getting many phone calls when you do this from Google. And that's just free money left on the table. So this is what a fully optimized map looks like. Green across the entire city, every neighborhood, every suburb. And when that monsoon season hits in Mesa and 500 homeowners grab their phones, this company is the one that's going to get all the calls. Same city, same service. One of them is invisible. The other one owns the market. The difference, it's not luck. It's not a bigger budget. It's a system. So now you've seen it. A real roofer in a real city losing real money because of the mistakes that take less than a weekend to fix. And if you watch this and thought, I wonder what my grid looks like, I already told you, go to freegbpaudit.com. I'll personally look at your profile and show you exactly where you stand. That link is going to be in the description down below. So here's what you're going to want to do. Hit the subscribe button. I'm doing more of these audits in the next few weeks. Different city, different industry, maybe plumbers, HVAC, electricians. And if your competitor ends up on this channel before you fix your profile, that's on you. So drop a comment. Tell me what city you're in and maybe what trade you're in, and maybe you'll be on the next audit. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.